This is a message from Environment Canada. Environment Canada has issued a rainfall warning for all of Essex County. Meteorologists are predicting upwards of 50 millimeters of total rain accumulation within the next 48 hours. There is currently no end date for this rainfall event. Residents in low-lying areas are urged to prepare for the possibility of flash floods and power outages. They are urged to stock up on non-perishable foods, batteries, and light sources in the very likely occurrence of power outages. In the event of a downed power line, call the Hydro One emergency hotline at 800-434-1235 or 911 and stay at least 10 meters away from the downed line. In the event of a flash flood, immediately get to higher ground. Do not drive your vehicle, as doing so has the possibility of you and your loved ones being swept away by the currents. Turn around, don't drown. This message will be updated as conditions develop. This is an advisory from the Ontario Ministry of Health. An increase of cases of respiratory illnesses have been reported by local clinics and hospitals have been reported in your area, with all patients showing similar symptoms. Common symptoms include coughing, shortness of breath, sneezing, fever and fatigue. It is currently unknown how people are contracting this illness, and the source is currently under investigation by the Ontario Ministry of Health in collaboration with the Canadian Ministry of Public Health. If you or a loved one displays any of these symptoms, it is recommended to visit a walk-in clinic or healthcare provider. However, due to the extreme rainfall event, this may not be possible for some residents. Common, over-the-counter medications such as Tylenol or Benylin are recommended to manage symptoms. If symptoms worsen, please visit your local hospital or contact their non-emergency if you need assistance getting to the hospital. This advisory will be updated as new information becomes available. This is a message from the Ontario Ministry of Health, issued in coordination with Environment Canada. New information suggests a link between the ongoing rainfall event in Essex County and the ongoing spread of a novel respiratory illness across Essex County and surrounding regions. Samples collected by Environment Canada and analyzed by the Ontario Ministry of Health indicate the presence of an unidentified pathogen consistent with those found in several affected patients. Officials are urging residents not to come into contact with rainwater whenever possible. It is currently unknown if this pathogen has entered the local water supply, and it is assumed to have done so. As such, the entirety of Essex County is under a boil water advisory. If you must travel outside, use PPE, such as a heavy-duty rain jacket and rain boots, or an umbrella. Emergency response teams are currently distributing bottled water to essential faculties and government buildings. Residents experiencing severe symptoms such as fainting, dizziness, confusion, or muscle spasms are urged to call 911 for further assistance. Officials stress this is a developing situation. Remain indoors during rainfall until further notice. This message will be updated as new information becomes available. This is a message from the Ontario Emergency Management Office, issued in coordination with the Ontario Ministry of Health and Environment Canada. Due to the spread of the unknown waterborne pathogen, now named the Victoria virus, a shelter-in-place order has been placed on the entirety of Essex County, as well as surrounding areas. Residents are urged to stay indoors, close all windows and doors, turn off all heating and air conditioning, and are instructed not to consume tap or rainwater under any circumstances. Schools in Essex will be moved to online for the duration of the event. All public water systems have been temporarily shut down during this crisis. The Canadian Armed Forces, in cooperation with the Canadian Red Cross, will be deploying shortly to distribute sterilized bottled water as well as food rations and medical supplies. Do not attempt to leave your home or place of shelter. Travel is restricted to emergency vehicles and authorized personnel only. The Victoria virus is believed to spread through direct contact with infected water and fog. Limited evidence also suggests airborne transmission. Avoid contact with rain. This message will be updated as new information becomes available. This is an update from the Emergency Management Ontario, issued in coordination with the Ontario Ministry of Health and Environment Canada. Residents are reminded that a shelter-in-place order is in effect for the entirety of Essex County. Residents are not to go outside for any reason. If you or a loved one is currently experiencing an emergency, call 911 and wait for help to arrive. Do not attempt to leave your home or place of shelter. Travel is restricted to emergency vehicles and authorized personnel only. Provincial authorities urge residents to remain indoors and avoid unnecessary communication, to keep phone lines open for emergency use. Recent data shows a sharp increase of Victoria virus cases within the last 24 hours in the Essex County area and surrounding regions. Hospitals within the area are currently operating under 250% capacity. Cases of severe neurological symptoms have been reported in multiple patients, including disorientation, erratic behavior, coma, and muscle rigidity. However, officials emphasize that there remains no confirmed evidence of person transmission at this time. Avoid all contact with rainfall, mist, or standing water. Multiple large-scale power outages have been reported as a result of flooding caused by the rainfall event. If your residence experiences a power interruption, stay calm and prioritize conserving food, bottled water, and batteries. Misinformation about the virus is spreading at an accelerated rate within online communities. Stay calm, stay informed. Do not participate in the spread of misinformation. Doing so only makes the situation worse. A website has been set up at www.publichealthontario.ca/Victoria with information and facts about the virus. This message will be updated as information becomes available. Remain indoors. Stay calm. Await further instruction. This is a message from the Ministry of Public Health. The Victoria virus situation has intensified. Confirmed cases of Victoria virus have been reported in Simcoe, Wellington, Perth and Grey counties. Northern areas in the United States are also reporting cases of Victoria virus. A temporary border closure is in effect until November 25, 2025. During this time, no civilian travel between the countries is permitted. The Ontario government is also considering interprovincial border closures to contain further spread. The rainfall event has persisted for 14 consecutive days, with no current predicted end date. Wastewater ponds and storm drains nearing or exceeding capacity. If you are in an affected area, help is on the way. The Canadian Armed Forces, in cooperation with the Canadian Red Cross, are currently in the process of distributing essential PPE, food, water, medications, and batteries. Do not go outside, as you risk infecting yourself with the Victoria virus. During this time, residents are urged not to travel between municipalities. Avoid contact with rainfall. Additional evidence also suggests Victoria virus has become airborne. If possible, wear a mask or face and nose covering. Remain indoors. Stay calm. Await further instruction. This is a message from the Ministry of Public Health. The World Health Organization has issued an international alert following evidence of atmospheric transmission of the Victoria virus. Countries in South America, Europe, and Africa are reporting cases of the virus, as well as the provinces of Quebec, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. At this time, the World Health Organization has declared the Victoria virus a public health emergency of international concern. At this time, the organization advises against international travel. Currently, hospitals are reporting unusual neurological symptoms, including aggression, disorientation, and confusion. If you or a loved one are experiencing these symptoms, isolate yourself immediately and call your local health unit. If an infected person is displaying aggressive or erratic behavior, maintain your distances and contact 911 immediately. Reports of infected persons turning into zombies are completely false and untrue. Spreading misinformation about the virus only serves to hamper relief efforts and spread fear. Visit www.publichealthontario.ca/Victoria for more information about the virus. Remain indoors. Know the symptoms, stay calm. Await further instruction. This is a message from the Ministry of Public Health, issued in coordination with Emergency Management Ontario and the Canadian Armed Forces. Global infrastructure is under strain due to the ongoing Victoria virus situation. The World Health Organization has declared the Victoria virus a pandemic as of today, October 14, 2025. All airports and major border crossings across Canada are now closed to civilian travel. Rail and bus services suspended until further notice. Supply chains for medical and food resources are being redirected to emergency operations. The rainfall event is still ongoing. Meteorologists predict a persistent slow-moving rain front extending across much of Canada and the northern United States. Hospitals in affected provinces are operating at extreme capacity and are considered extremely dangerous. Avoid hospitals at all costs. If you or a loved one is experiencing a medical emergency, call 911 and you will be instructed from there. If you or someone in your household shows symptoms of confusion, erratic behavior or aggression, isolate immediately and contact your regional health hotline. Remain indoors, conserve food, water, and power at all costs. Stay calm. Await further instruction. This is a message from the Ministry of Public Health, issued in coordination with Emergency Management Ontario. Communication networks across the county are experiencing widespread interruptions due to strain caused by the Victoria virus pandemic. Several towers have gone offline, and internet is unavailable in most major cities. Residents may receive duplicate or incomplete emergency messages. This is normal, and not cause for concern. Continue to follow instructions from verified federal channels. Reports are coming in of aggressive individuals infected with Victoria virus in residential areas. Avoid contact with them, and do not under any circumstances provide aid. These individuals are suffering extreme neurological issues related to the Victoria virus. If you encounter an infected individual suffering from the effects of Victoria virus outside your place of residence, turn off all lights and lock all entrance points into your home. Avoid any unnecessary noises or dial 911. If emergency services are unavailable, you are permitted to use lethal force only if absolutely necessary. Stay calm, protect yourself, protect humanity. This is a message from the Canadian Armed Forces, issued in coordination with the Ministry of Public Health. Martial laws in effect for the entire Dominion of Canada. Repeat, martial laws in effect for the entire Dominion of Canada for an indefinite period of time. During martial law, citizens are instructed not to leave their houses under any circumstances, unless an evacuation order is given. Rations will be delivered to your residence by the Canadian Armed Force on a bi-weekly basis. During this time, freedom of movement, freedom of assembly, and freedom of the press will be suspended until further notice. Additionally, access into and out of the county is prohibited. Internet services for the remaining regions with internet access will be limited to 1 gigabyte per household per day. This is to prevent systems from overloading and allowing essential traffic to go through. Citizens are instructed to carefully ration their internet, food, and power supplies, and avoid overusage. Major infected zones across the county are currently undergoing reclaiming efforts by the Canadian Armed Forces to reclaim them from aggressive infected. Do not attempt to impede these efforts, or you may be fired upon. Stay calm, protect yourself, protect humanity. This is a message from the Canadian Armed Forces, issued in coordination with the Government of Ontario. Reclaiming efforts by the Canadian Armed Forces have failed. Repeat, reclaiming efforts by the Canadian Armed Forces have failed. If you are in the following areas: Essex, Ottawa, Toronto, Barrie, North Bay, Orillia, you are on your own. These areas are considered lost. Evacuate if at all possible. Do whatever you have to survive. The armed forces can no longer provide protection or evacuation services in these regions. Killing infected persons is legal and the Ministry of Justice will not pursue you once the crisis is over. If you are not in an area considered lost, stay where you are. The Canadian Armed Forces are currently focusing their efforts on protecting non-infected areas and establishing safe zones in central and northern provinces. Don't lose hope. Even in a dire situation, holding on to hope is the one thing we can all do as we wait for this crisis to pass over us. Stay calm, protect yourself, protect humanity. This is a message from what remains of the Government of Canada in coordination with what remains of the Canadian Armed Forces. The Canadian government has lost contact with all remaining countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Japan, and Australia. Repeat, the Canadian government has lost contact with all remaining countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Japan, and Australia. What remains of the Government of Canada in coordination with what remains of the Canadian Armed Forces are currently evacuating north to the Northwest Territories. If at all possible, leave your homes and go north. Protect yourself. Protect what remains of humanity. This is a message to those left to hear it. Communication channels are currently failing across the country. Satellite relays and ground transmitters are operating at reduced power. Many provincial command centers are no longer responding. Do not attempt to seek out government aid. Repeating, do not attempt to seek out government aid. The Canadian government has fallen and cannot help you anymore. The armed forces are presumed fragmented, with remaining units acting independently. Major cities including Ottawa, Toronto, and Windsor have been overrun. Smaller towns and rural communities are reporting outbreaks with no rescue attempts planned. If you are still alive and receiving this message, you are responsible for taking care of yourself and your community. Share clean water if you can. Avoid traveling after dark. Build your own communities. Protect yourself. Protect what remains of humanity. This message will continue to transmit as long as emergency power remains. If you can hear this broadcast, know that you are not alone, even if it feels that way. Somewhere, others may still be listening. This message will loop until there's no one left to hear it.
Hi, everybody. I, don't know if anyone can hear this. This is just me. My name is Sidney Parker. I am the last person here at the Environment and Climate Change Canada office in Burlington, Ontario. And I honestly don't know who else is left. My last address is 867 Lakeshore Road, Burlington, Ontario, if anyone can help me. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Everyone else in the office is either dead or left ages ago. I've been managing the alert ready system for some time now, trying to get information out there to people, but I think this is going to be the last broadcast. I'm running out of food, water, and power, and I doubt there's anyone left to hear my messages in the first place. Sometimes I still hear the sirens outside. Sometimes I think I hear people, but it's just the rain and wind. If there's anyone still out there, I'll set this message to loop until there's no one left to hear it. That was to give people closure on, well, society, I guess. I'm sorry we failed you all. Meteorologists, doctors, government workers, the armed forces. Maybe there was a way we could have prevented this, or at least slowed it down. So, yeah, good luck out there.